Ironic. The whole series, we have been talking about how chicken breast tenderness has been taken for granted. But now, the chicken with by far the toughest breast is probably gonna end up in overseas up, baby! We are starting in Johor Bahru at Pine Chicken Rice. I know you all expected KL, but we'll get there. We do it step by step. So this has been recommended by a lot of people as sort of the Bintang equivalent. I went with the usual and already some very prominent stuff, but I want to hold off until we get there. Let's begin. What if, say for example, only, the series winner is not from Singapore. Plenty of hits all over the place. Let's start with the most important, the rice. This texture is something that we have not encountered before and I have not thought to do before. I have a good feeling this is fan. Overnight rice. The rice, when you bite in, you can feel that it's pretty tough. So those of you who have done it before, you know that if you put rice in the fridge overnight, it gets more solid, it gets more firm and separated. That does very well when you fry rice. Here it has that texture. The other flavors, chicken rice flavors, aromatics, chicken fat, savouriness, is lighter. It gives way to the other components, which I'll get to. But to finish up this point, this texture, that tougher rice with broken grains, very interesting. And then the chicken, my worst nightmare. And it's something that I have said a few times on this channel now. We don't play on even ground. The chicken is fundamentally tastier. I don't think this is kampong chicken, but the base chickeny flavor is just more. Their supply is better, which kinda sucks cause like, what else do I say? It doesn't feel like they did anything special with the cooking method, but it's just nicer. There is a mince though about the chicken, I'll get to that. To wrap it up, I was so excited by their chili because of the texture. It's not the loose kind that we are used to. They have pureed this into like a guacamole texture. It's thicker. But of the two chilies, I only like the green one. The green one has more flavor. To jump the gun on the missus, the red one is it just kills flavor. It's just a lot of spiciness and ginger. I consider myself to be able to take a certain level of spice, not crazily, but this is very spicy. I feel like if you bottle this up, this is above 50,000 Scoville units. Soup is an opaque herbal chicken soup. Simple, rather oily, but the animal fat does not stink. But luckily, there are still misses. We've gone through the main chili not having much flavor, just really spicy and just nukes out everything. The green one is way better, but the bigger miss is the sauce. It is drenched and heavy that even with the stronger chicken flavor that I mentioned earlier, it drowns it out. You just taste sauce. And this sauce is the usual oily sweet sauce with more saltiness than normal. Delicious, but too much. When they serve the meat so flat on the plate and then they submerge it, it just takes on too much. We have mentioned sauce to chicken ratio a few times now on this series. This is one example. Another smaller miss is that the chicken breast is on the tougher side. Not tough, but we have gotten very used to tender chicken breast by now. I'm not sure if it's the cooking method or the breed. Very minor miss. Like I said, chicken tenderness 8, 9, 10. But I'm a bit scared What if the series winner is not from Singapore? I lose my citizenship or... Alright, I'll see you guys at next place. Not that long ago, there was a king in Singapore's chicken rice scene. I'm not talking about Tian Tian or Bun Tong Ki, an establishment that defined what chicken rice was supposed to be. From the 1950s to its last year of operation in 1997, it dominated the market. Everybody knew their name, dozens tried to copy, but there was only one Swee. Today the lineage is very convoluted. CNA had a whole documentary just on them. But based on my research, here in Senai is the proper successor. How important is that? Not really actually. Not to me at least. You guys who have seen the videos before know that while we pay respect to those who came before us, whether it's nice or not is infinitely more important. So we got the usual with very starchy and broken rice and relatively plain looking chicken. Let's give this a go. Every year I travel to Malaysia and ask myself the same question. Is it really that their chicken is nicer? Or that I have vacation goggles? That things taste nicer when you're on holiday? And every time I have the same answer. No leh, their chicken really nicer leh. I'm gonna say it one last time. It is just more chickeny. One day perhaps I'll risk getting arrested and smuggle Malaysian chicken back to Singapore to do a blind taste test. But until I do then, I'm convinced it's better. The cook on it is not that great, which we'll get there, but the chicken flavour combined with just the right amount of saucing. Just now I said it was drenched in sauce, right, in the previous place. This is the amount of sauce that I think is correct. It barely forms the base because that's all the sauce that you need, in my opinion anyway. Here they go for a more oily, savoury sauce rather than sweet one just now, and it works. But other than that, quite a bit of misses. The chicken breast is overcooked. Not by much, but it's on its way to become chalky. It lasts for 10 to 20 more chews, and it's not as juicy as it can be. The dark meat, however, way smoother and flavorful. This is a conundrum that is very tough when you want to cook chicken whole. I said before in the previous episode, the right temperature for the breast and the drumsticks are different. But other than that, the rice, while savoury, is in my opinion out of balance. It is way too oily and starchy, and it does not work well as compared to Margaret Drive Sinki. If you want to up the oiliness, the rest of the components need to follow up as well. This I feel like my lips and my palates are just greased up right now. The soup is a simple chicken soup with cabbage, but not just no balance, not enough ingredients, it is very bland, and a little bit of chicken stench. Chili is loose, not much flavour and not spicy. Salty, sour with very raw aromatics. The chicken very nice. I'm curious to test the chicken hypothesis against our next two stops, which we have to fly to. Good thing is Senai Airport is very close to here. So I'll see you guys in KL. We are now at the Regent in KL. I have a very bad feeling. No, really, what if, right? What if the series winner is not from Singapore? Because what am I looking at? We have half a chicken here, and it's just so pretty. Disregard the yellow hue. Look at how nicely conjured the fat layer is, and the juiciness of the breast. They even have this very interestingly cut, I want to say tender. They like flatten it a little bit and mark horizontal lines across. It even comes with kian and gua, and the color of the rice shows the flavor. I don't want to be glazing it too much before I've even tried it, but I'm really having a very bad feeling. Ironic. The whole series, we have been talking about how chicken breast tenderness has been taken for granted. But now, the chicken with by far the toughest breast is probably going to end up in top 3 of the series. The chicken flavor is everything. Before this we talk about 70-80%, this is 90-95%. When you bite into the chicken, the seasoning does minimal. It just cooks the chicken flavor and you get that full heat of chicken. I feel like a lot of people say the phrase tastes like chicken because the chicken that people normally eat doesn't taste like much. But this is an incredible reminder of what chicken tastes like. And despite the intensity, it does not stink. It is so pure. This heat is so big that the other heats seem petty. The rice is the clumpy kind, but very fragrant, very tasty. A slightly stronger ginger aftertaste. The chili is high quality. I mean, a shortcut way of telling that is just the amount of ingredients that go into it. You can see it has so much body. And this chicken rice is so good that I had to make an exception and try the ginger. This ginger sauce will make white rice taste amazing. The chicken rice comes with 4 bowls of rice. And before I head to the missus, I don't usually do this, but I like the restaurant. This kind of Chinese restaurants are usually very noisy, but here the ground is carpeted. They break the surfaces up so that the noise doesn't resonate so much. They even have this uneven feature wall which helps with the noise. There's a decent amount of space between the tables, and they are very fast with refilling your tea. But now for the misses. The meat is very, very tough. Incomparably tough to whatever we had before. So you can deduce that this is an older chicken. Older chickens are larger in size because they are slaughtered later, have more time to grow, and often comes with a stronger flavor. It also means that their meat is tougher. Personally, I find that their toughness actually helps them a little bit because the chicken flavor is so pure, so nice. Every time you chew more on the breast, it gushes out more juices. The meat is tough, but the chicken is still very juicy. The one real miss though is that if it's gonna be so tough, maybe the slicing can be smaller. There are a few pieces here that I had to fight with. There's something to be said here about the yellowness of the chicken. There's three main reasons. One is the diet. Technically, eating things like corn and carrot will contribute to the yellow color. Two is turmeric. And three, the factor that has the biggest contribution is the species of the chicken. And in this dish, the chicken that is commonly referenced is called Sanhuang Ji, 3 yellow chicken, which I want to guess is what is being used here. Because there's a level of yellowness that cannot be gotten with the first two factors. Shout out to those of you who recommended this to me. Thank you. One last note, this dish has to be pre-ordered. Alright, let's head to the last chicken rice of the video. For our last spot of the day, we are at Nam Heong, Nanxiang, along Jalan Sultan. And relax bro. You scared people don't know man. Don't need lah. We got the usual, which was slightly hard to order because they go by QR. I had to get the quarter chicken and then write breast and drumsticks in the remarks. Anyway, let's see what we get. Well, if we found out anything today, it's that the chickens here are unapologetically chicken. You can see why. They are very thick-skinned. While it's good chicken, cooked well, I cannot help but compare it to what we just had. Before this video, we're talking about Singapore versus Malaysia chickens, but even 12 kilometers apart, there is chicken quality difference too. It is chickeny, it's not smelly, it's tender, but market rate inflation. The seasoning is a bit too strong, such that even though there's only a thin layer of sauce, the saltiness hits very hard. But the biggest miss here, and potentially dish-breaking, is the rice. I'm seldom ever this harsh, but this is butter rice. The kind that you will get at cheap westerns, or maybe Swanson's, as a side dish. Sometimes they add a little bit of raisins inside, if you ever had it before. And while it shares some ingredients with chicken rice, the resulting flavor is a bit too far from me. This might be a personal bias, but I feel like I'm having rice from another cuisine, not chicken rice, which I so love. Chili and soup are decent, but the chili, after I added it into the rice, again I feel so displaced. It is not a bad butter rice, but I don't share this interpretation. Alright, all done. Lots to digest. I'll see you guys at the cafe. We are now at Stella Coffee, down Jalan Sultan, and I got Malaysia Liberica. This coffee bean is from the Johor region and fermented, according to the barista. Brewed V60, which is a pour over, you know that paper that looks like a V, in a 60-degree angle. And at 31 ringgit, maybe I should receive a clean piece of name tag. Anyway. What the? I don't usually comment on the taste of the coffee if you have been through a few cafe o'clocks, but I feel like Walter White in that scene. How am I tasting so much? There's like a jackfruit flavor, at the same time a smoky soy sauce flavor, and umami. There's none of the bite of caffeine and a very tame acidity. It actually tastes a little bit closer to tea than coffee. Freaking interesting. Anyway, recap. I got a little bit too excited. 4 chicken rice, coming all the way from Johor to Senai to now in KL. At Pine Chicken Rice, we had good rice, great chili. It was there that we got a hint that the chickens that we're going to be having this video is going to be different. We had a similarly good chicken at Swee, although all the other components don't have the same level of finesse. And then to the talking point, the Regent. I got so seduced by the chicken, right, that I don't think I placed enough emphasis on the chicken rice, when technically that should be the most important part. The chicken rice at the Regent was good, not great. Thinking back now, it's a little bit clumpy, still a lot of flavor, but not the chicken rice that I want. I find that when it's so clumpy, when it's cooked like this, the fragrance of the rice does not come out as much. And I really like the fragrance of white rice. If you cook rice at home with your rice cooker, you know the smell of the steam coming off, that slightly sweet smell, I like it a lot. And that's on top of the texture. I also prefer the Li Li Fen Ming. I find that it is nature's pasta shapes. You get such an interesting mouthfeel from things that grow off the ground. And then lastly to Nam Heong. Still a good chicken rice, but I guess not just in Singapore, the Malaysia standard of chicken rice is very high as well. Maybe higher than Singapore's. 1 plate I'll walk for the chicken rice, 2 plates I'll take a bus for the chicken rice, and 3 plates I'll go anywhere in the city for the chicken rice. And the chicken rice today gets 2131. There is this ceiling in 70% of Singapore's chicken rice, the tender, bland broiler chicken, and the Regent's version just burst past that. There is the practical reason of using broiler chicken for its availability, for its price, for its predictability. You almost need to use it in order to set up shop daily in a Singaporean hawker center. All due respect to that, but having this chicken raises the roof, which is very interesting, cause we only just started tumbling into the rabbit hole. I'm really curious to learn how different can chicken rice get. So, I'll see you guys at the next stop. We are now in Bangkok at the most popular Thai chicken rice, Goang Pratunam. We still have the chicken rice from 1200 kilometers away in our stomach, and here we are eating the next one. So let's give this a go. Oh, I'm afraid that's all we have time for this week. Don't worry, I'll set this down here. I'll wait for you all to finish your week and then come back. Next week, we eat the best chicken rice in Bangkok. But for now, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!